Right away, I noticed, William Nylander gets a goal last night, and I noticed, immediately you put out a tweet, and I'm going to read it here, and you put out an image as well, but you said William Nylander scored his 20th goal of the season, so he's 2 shy from tying a career high. 16 have come from this net front area, and it's literally the diamond shape in front of the net, which is second most by any player in the NHL. I mean, that's pretty impressive, because I've said before, it's really funny when we're judging a player, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're judging a guy, right? He looks seamless out there. He doesn't really look like he's breaking a sweat. So then you presume, right? You're assume that he's not really working hard and that he's not getting to the dirty areas. And then you see a stat like that, Mike, and you realize he's second in the league in scoring goals from dirty areas.
Yeah, it was a couple points there, I think, Andy. And number one is, that is the net front area. About half the goals in the league are scored from there. And but I think it's evolved a little bit over the last several years where it's not just the big power forwards that go there and get shots and are productive. There's really skilled players that know how to weave their way in and out of those areas. So just because a guy like William Nylander doesn't go and stand there and take 5 cross checks to the back and punch a guy in the face and get a shot away, he doesn't have to do that. He's able to time it. He's got great hockey sense, obviously, and he can get there with his speed. He knows when to pop in, pop out, and create those opportunities. And the guy who leads the league in goals from there is Sebastian Aho. He's not a big guy. He knows how to get there and be productive, though, and get there at the right times. And obviously, the more shots and chances you can produce from that area, the more likely you are going to score a lot of goals. And part of the reason why I put that tweet out last night, because I've been on this for a while with Nylander, even going back to last season, is that I know that he gets there, and I know that there's a bit of this narrative, at least in Toronto, anyways, that he's a perimeter player, because you watch him enter the zone and he'll do those button hooks on the wing and look for a trailer, which are great plays, but some people say, he doesn't drive the net. No, he doesn't drive the net. He's a great playmaker. He doesn't have to drive the net if that's not what he thinks the best option is. So I know he gets there. I know he scores from there. And the amount of people that responded and just kind of, I told you that he's not a perimeter player. It suggests that narrative still exists. So I just wanted to kind of shoot that one in the head.
Well, Mike, it's always interesting for me that, I always say this, you can watch a guy go battle in front of the net. You can watch a guy, work and churn and everything, but you can't measure mental effort. And, there's a lot of players that know where to get to quickly and at the right times and don't have to engage unnecessarily. And I think that's exactly what William Nylander does, just like Mitch Marner does the same thing. But you can't measure it and you can't see it, so how do you know how much how smart they are? And William Nylander's an exceptionally smart player.
Yeah, well, I'm with you on that one 100%, exactly. And, so he gets the goal from that area, and he's had an unbelievable year. What he's been able to do at 5-on-5, he's been on a couple different lines, so viewed different combinations. I think it's fair to say that in the games where he's not at his best, you don't really notice him a ton. And you can kind of question what his B game looks like. When he's on his A game, and playing well, which is most of the time, he's a real impact player. So I got a lot of time for him. I think he does a great job.
Mike, I always tell young players and, players that aren't big, why do you want to go and engage in a game that isn't to your strengths? Why do you want to go battle a 6'2" defenseman or somebody that's stronger than you along the wall? If your strengths are using your quickness and a quick stick and getting in and out of spots where they can't mark you, that's what you want to do. And I tell young players that all the time, and it's a big part of development. How many times, Andy's a big soccer person and an aficionado, right? How many times do soccer players, the goal scorers, the strikers, how often do they go battle in front of the net?
Yep. Yeah, I can tell you there's very little of that going on.
It's timing, right? Yeah. It's timing. Arrive at the right point when the ball, right?
But if they are, they're falling and getting a penalty kick.
But boy, those strikers sure play on the perimeter, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Well, Craig, you and I talk a lot, and you've talked before, too, about, why are you going to always talk about a player and the things that he can't do? Yeah. And when you got a great player like a William Nylander, I just feel like people love to talk about what he can't do or what he doesn't do. You spend that time talking about what he does, You're going to be thrilled with this guy. He's a great player.